Fresh off the heels of our announcement of collaboration with Fracct Group, we're finally here with Michael Fiorentini, the managing director and co-founder of Amberlake, who is the only financial advisory and lender based out of Monaco with SEC licensing. So tell us about the SEC licensing. What spurred your interest to go down?
Maybe let me start explaining what an external asset manager is, because that might be maybe not clear for everyone. So basically, we manage the portfolios of our clients who are ultra high net worth individuals or high net worth individuals, and we use custodian banks, so mainly in Monaco, and they hold the assets of our clients. But these clients are a bit frustrated by the treatment or service they get at their banks because everything is very standardized. And coming to us, they have access to a real open architecture, and we can really guide them towards different issuers, different creators of products. We don't necessarily have to sell the products of the bank where they are. So this is the big difference. 2 years ago, an American prospect came to us and asked us for some help getting an account open in Monaco. And as you may know, it's very difficult for an American to be bankable and to open an account. We did some homework and we decided to take this SEC license that allows us to treat him as a normal European client, providing him the same services. So by extension, it also gives us access to the financing offering of the banks, which is a nice link to your activity, which is real estate, because these Americans coming here, the port of entry is often buying a secondary home. And usually they think that they have to do it for cash. So they come here, they need to pay the whole amount in cash, so the money is sleeping in the property. And maybe they have to sell some stuff in the US, maybe sell their stocks and trigger some taxes, etc. So there are a lot of hurdles for them. But coming to us, they are able to open the private banking account, transfer some portfolio that already exists in the US. So it's a simple transfer. They are not triggering any extra taxes. And thanks to this portfolio that is now in custody in Monaco, the bank is happy to finance the property, which is a combination of a mortgage and a security taken on that portfolio. And this whole scheme can exist only because the portfolio is there and we manage it. That is the main idea.
Got it. So you got your SEC licensing to manage US clients' portfolios in Monaco and lend against them for property in France.
Correct.
Perfect. That's where we tie in. And what do you think about all the press over the weekend about Americans? It's time to move to Europe.
So I think it's a shame for Monaco because most of them think directly about Switzerland. So most of the articles I'm reading talk about Americans moving to Switzerland. I think this is a misconception. They probably all think that you have to be a billionaire to live in Monaco, which is not true. So there are lower thresholds. And the quality of life, I think I don't want to say something negative about Switzerland, but I think it's superior here. And they also maybe ignore the fact that there is an ecosystem for them here, that they are able to bank, to have their asset management here, to have mortgages, and everything they need. So it's just a matter for us to spread the word and welcome them to the French Riviera.
Well, I can testify that the quality of life in Monaco is good, and that the threshold of cost of living is not so high.
Yes.
And around Cap d'Aille, Roquebrune, Beausoleil, Menton, we've got an incredible portfolio of real estate available at really great prices. So people can come, live in Monaco, enjoy the French Riviera, and be front row to events like the Formula One race, the Cannes Film Festival, other shows like the Cannes Lions. We think that the French Riviera is a much better draw than other places in Europe.
I agree. And if you like the mountains, you can go anyway. So.
Skiing is very close. We end up skiing quite often, so we like it. Nice. What type of clients are you looking to attract?
So there are, I would say, two different categories. You have the clients who really want to come and live here. They want to retire here, enjoy the European way of life. The second category would be people that are preparing a kind of plan B. They would like to have assets in Europe, to have a second property in Europe in case they would need to move one day. So this is something I hear quite often because of all the worries about politics, about all changes, what's going on in the world. So I can clearly see these two different aspects.
Interesting. That ties well into our business model too, because we will sell you the property and then manage it on a short-term or long-term basis. A match made in heaven. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about what you guys are offering. What happens when a new client approaches Amberlake? Somebody calls you up or emails you, says, hey, I'm thinking about buying a place over there just in case. What are the next steps?
The first step will be a free initial conversation. We're just going to identify the needs of the client. So the most important for us, it will be the investor's profile. We need to really understand the appetite for risk that the client has, because we have a whole range of solutions, from the less risky to the more dynamics. And based on that, we'll be able to build a kind of allocation portfolio and ask the client for his criteria and different preferences. Then the idea would be to find the right bank for the client. So it will depend on the project. If there is a mortgage involved, some banks will be easier than others. Some banks won't take Americans, but we need to take them to others. And based on that, we'll be able to size the portfolio as well, because the size of the purchase will determine how much assets the client has to bring to the bank as a guarantee for the loan. So we do all these calculations before going to the bank. Then we'll work internally here, because we have the same level of compliance than a bank, because everything is documented and right. And we will first do the onboarding at Amberlake here and use the same pack for the bank. So it's not a double work for the client, we do it for them. So we have a person here that is taking care of all the bank account openings. Sorry. So we have a person here who is taking care of all the account openings. We'll ask the client for a few documents which are required anywhere in the world anyway. And the delay to get the account open will be about 4 to 6 weeks.
Pretty quick by French standards.
Yes.
So how do you define the advisory mandate? What type of paperwork is involved with signing someone up specifically?
We work only on an advisory basis, which means that the client will need to approve every decision. We make proposals, and when the client is happy with the allocation, with the product, or with the proposal, he will just give us a green light, and we have the capability to call the bank and place the order for them. This is how it works. Basically, we work with any asset class, so it could be stocks, bonds, funds. We are specialists in structured products, which is gaining traction now in the US. So it's very European originally, but it's a very risk-adjusted way to invest on the markets. So we try to smoothen out the volatility to get regular coupons to our clients with buffers and protection barriers. So this is what we do best.
Nice. What kind of investment solutions do you provide for US-based clients once they get their portfolio over here? I know that there's some investments that US persons are not allowed to hold while living in Europe.
Yes.
What type of alternatives do you provide for them?
So we have that type of knowledge here in-house. So as you said, some asset classes are not available to Americans, like European funds are not recommended for a US resident. So we need to go only through US approved investments. So we have specific issuers that are based in New York to make the products for our US client base. So this is something we do. Then what was your question?
What kind of solutions do you provide? Other alternatives to the US, like Vanguard fund. I know Europeans aren't allowed, or Americans are not allowed to hold Vanguard if they're a European resident.
Exactly.
If Americans become European residents, they're barred from having certain asset classes. So what type of replacement asset classes do you provide?
It really depends. Sometimes the client comes with a ready-made portfolio that has already been made by the RIA in the US. So then we just take over and continue to do some arbitrage sometimes and buy, sell a few lines. Sometimes the client will come with cash only. In that case, we'll build a whole allocation with all the different asset classes that depends on the investor profile. So traditionally, it will be the equity part that is smaller or bigger depending on the risk profile of the client.
Nice. I love that your model's proactive. It talks about wealth preservation, growth, and also real estate. It's really important for our model that we can collateralize our US clients' portfolio to help them purchase property on the French Riviera. And it sounds like you're a super good fit for that.
Exactly.
All right, so let's say I'm a US investor, maybe based in New York, Miami, or LA. I'm interested in Monaco. What's my first step?
Monaco or the French Riviera.
Monaco or the French Riviera. You know, Monaco's got the glitz and glamour, it's got the F1. I get a lot of my high net worth clients calling me saying, Asher, how do I get into Monaco? Is it impossible? Who do I need to know? And I say, we've got the license now, we can get you in. There's plenty of great properties available. So let's say they're interested in Monaco. What do we do?
Exactly. So the first point of contact will be the real estate broker, which is you. Like, you have to find the property that fits the client, because then we need to know a budget. Because once we understand the budget, we can size the allocation. So we will run like a kind of process with different banks to find the best rate for the client, which is, by the way, much lower than what you can find in the US. And based on that, we will then decide like the size of the portfolio. So usually how it works, let's say you want to buy a 10 million property. The bank will be happy to finance about 60% of that property, taking a guarantee on the house itself. The remaining 40% will be backed by the investment portfolio that the client brings into the bank. So usually, as a rule of thumb, you always need to have at least 50% of the price of the villa as collateral, as liquid collateral. So in that case, 5 million, for example. So you understand, then your 5 million allows you to buy for 10. So this is a good thing for the client and gives you more products to show as well.
So we're talking about 100% financing available at lower rates, rates hovering around half the rates of US banks.
Exactly.
So high net worth individuals have no reason not to look at Monaco as a strategic investment.
Because basically you can buy a property of your dream on the Riviera and you don't have to pay any cash upfront, because everything is taken care of by the bank. And then the portfolio that is in collateral will also be used to generate a yield.
Are there other strategies we should talk about, working with different banks, one bank versus another bank? I know you used to be with the French bank.
So,
what banks do you recommend going with?
That is the advantage of an external asset manager. You're not tied with one bank. So we have access to a dozen of banks everywhere around the world, and especially here in Monaco. And one client can have several accounts that we consolidate. He can have in one report all his different allocations from different banks, all mixed together. So he just has to speak to one person, but his assets are diversified geographically. So we have banks in the US, in Dubai, in Switzerland, Luxembourg, Singapore, Monaco, of course, and we can easily diversify.
Fantastic. So if you're thinking about making a move to the French Riviera or Monaco, make sure to call us. We will connect you with Amberlake. Michael and his crew will take care of your money and watch your wealth preservation and wealth grow, and your real estate portfolio grow, not to mention all the cultural benefits of living here on the Riviera. I mean, this is a great metropolitan area with everything you could imagine at your fingertips. You've got the Nice International Airport that can get you anywhere in a flash. It is a real honor and dream living over here. I know you live over here.
Oh, yes. I was born not far from here. So.
Born not far from here. I was born in San Francisco, so it's been a bit of a leap for me, but I've really enjoyed the past 3 years out here. It's like a dream every day. So come join us. The Riviera's calling. Michael's going to take care of your money with Amberlake. There's been a lot of news over the weekend about Americans. It's time to move to Europe. Many Americans are looking at Switzerland. We're here to tell you, stop looking at Switzerland. You need to come to Monaco, where we've got everything right here. We've got the F1 race coming up. We've got the Cannes Film Festival just outside. We've got the Cannes Lions show. Monaco is the center of the world, not Switzerland. And Michael and Amberlake Partners are going to explain to you how you can purchase property on the French Riviera with zero money down.
Yes.
Let's go.
So basically, since we have this SEC license, we are considered as RIAs that are located outside of the US. It allows us to manage a portfolio that will be used as a base to finance your property. So basically, it will be a combination of a mortgage with a portfolio, and that scheme can only exist because we manage that portfolio.
Michael and Amberlake are the only firm in Monaco with SEC licensing to handle your portfolio, so you can put no money down and buy property in Monaco, the French Riviera, or beyond. We'll find the property for you. Michael will line up the financing. We'll take care of the management after. It's a match made in heaven, and you can come live in paradise. You do not have to live in Switzerland.